Like I said, we're going live now on YouTube. So what up, YouTube? Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the Kini and Nana show.
I guess so.
So how do you feel?
Like right now?
Yeah.
Nervous?
So just so YouTube know, YouTube, we're actually going live on my Facebook page. So if you notice Nana any different right now, it's probably because she's scared and nervous.
Yes, because you just told me now.
I love it, man. We thrive off this. All right, what's up, everybody? Miss you guys, family and friends. Haven't seen a lot of people in a long time. But let's get straight into it. 6 years of marriage. Congratulations. Yeah.
Still trying to breathe, guys.
Still trying to breathe?
Yes.
What do you mean?
It's so uncomfortable.
What's so uncomfortable?
It's awkward.
Awkward talking about it, or awkward because we're going live on my Facebook?
Awkward because we're going live on your Facebook.
It's all good. It's only me and you. We're just speaking to a plastic phone.
I guess so.
So, my name, my brother. What's going on? All right. So, 6 years of marriage. How's it been? So, how do we want to do this? So, me and my wife were talking today. We're reflecting on 6 years, and we thought, you know what? It'd be cool to be able to share, some of the lessons that we've learned from 6 years of marriage, personal stuff. Not so personal, right?
No.
Yeah, but we've been through a couple of things, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, you know what, she'll come up with 3 things. I'll come up with 3 things that I can share with you guys that I've learned and what she's learned, and hopefully can bring insight to you guys today. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to that, which is called No Kini. Okay, awesome. So I feel like I'm talking a lot. So how about you start?
No, you start.
What? Me start?
Yes, you start.
Okay. All right. What's the number? All right. So what's one thing that I've learned from being married for 6 years? I would say the first thing, definitely the first thing that I've learned from being married and having 3 girls is definitely to be more considerate.
Considerate?
Yeah.
Like how?
To your surroundings, to people, to what other people are going through, and just being straight up. I really feel like, that is definitely a weakness of mine. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a weakness of mine, like being considerate, and probably more detail.
Like given an example.
Like like mothers.
Yeah.
Like what mothers actually go through. Like. We talk about it a lot, but like what a mother does. Behind the scenes. Like staying up at night. Like now we've got a son. So our son is 6 months, and so you know how it is with all the kids. You're up at night, breastfeeding them. I used to just think that me, I'm watching, I'm working. Like when we first got married, I was like, I'm providing, I'm working 12 hours. Everything's like I'm providing. I'm coming back home. I expect food on the table. I expect things to be done a certain way because that's what I thought. Yeah. But then within the last 6 years, we've had those little arguments and things like that, and I think for me, it's just allowed me to broaden my mind and be more open towards how important it is to be mindful of you. And then now I truly see how I truly am more grateful for my mum. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
How have the girls taught you that stuff?
Oh, girls are different. So just so you guys know, like I grew up with brothers. I've got 5 brothers, 5 boys at home, 1 sister. And I always feel like Seal was always just one of the boys, like she just knew how to get along with us. And I don't know, it was never a natural, it wasn't a natural thing to be able to be considerate, to be open, to, Empathetic, yeah, that's the word, to be empathetic. You know, I think that's one thing that I've learned. And it's extremely important to have that in relationship, you know, to not be selfish, you know, and I think like that's what I experienced. And I really felt like, you know, especially when I put on, for those that know, I put on a lot of weight. I put on a lot of weight at that period of time. And, you know, for me, I was just drowning in my own kind of sorrows. And I was like, oh, me, I'm working 12 hours. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Yeah. I've learned to be more considerate for my wife, more considerate to other mothers, more considerate to other people, that, you know, not to judge people. You know what I mean? Yeah. How does that make you feel? I feel like you're really nervous right now.
I am nervous. Gosh, you made me do this.
It's all good.
Do that.
You don't want to do this? So do you want to? Everyone's watching us right now.
I can see that.
So maybe just tell us, like, what about you? Like, what? So that's one thing that I've learned. What's one thing that you've learned? Just try to imagine that no one's watching us. Okay. Let's just, as if we're talking in the car and we're just like driving in the car with the kids in the back, and we're just kind of talking.
And I think like one major lesson I've learned is the importance of open and honest communication.
Open and honest communication. The C word. Why do you think it's important to? Why do you think it's important for us to have that open communication? And what do you mean specifically?
Well, when we first got married, we're very like, we're opposite.
How?
Well, you just like.
I thought we're the same.
You're just like rah 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 rah, and I'm just like not.
Yeah.
And so the way that we deal with situations is different. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just like to deal with it then and there. I usually would just like close off, kind of like leave it in, not really say nothing, just like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
So we didn't communicate.
Yes.
Like we didn't communicate.
Like how? Like what are some things that happened?
Like I don't know, just like whatever would happen, and then I'll get mad at you, but I don't express myself through words.
Yeah.
Or actions. I just close off and I'll just like separate.
So true.
I'll just separate myself like from the environment. Like I'll just go.
And I don't know if it's a guy thing, but like for us guys, and I think it is a guy thing. Like we just like to fix everything then and there. Like if there's a problem with us, or you know how it is, guys, man. True. Like when the missus is not happy in the house, there's this vibe. It's just not the best. And like for me, I'm like, what's wrong, babe? Like, how can I help? Like, what's going on? The kids? Is it, is it work? Is it this? Or is it money? Is it bills? Is it your family? Is it my family? And for me, I just like things to get fixed straight away. I think that's a guy thing maybe, or just me. But my wife, she's different. Like you just kind of like to deal things within you, eh? Like
yeah, like I won't say nothing. I'll just be like, okay, and then I'll just like go to the room and just like have a little moment, and then that's it. So we wouldn't communicate. Well, you'd be the only one communicating, I should say. And I think we just kind of like learn over the years, like, okay, let's have open discussions, like let's actually talk.
Why do you think it's important to have open discussions?
Well, because you can't read my mind, I can't read yours.
That's true.
So you gotta like actually use your words and speak.
Yeah. And then how does it like over time, how does that affect a relationship, or how did it affect our relationship?
It benefited our relationship because we went from not knowing we went to learning how we communicate or how we take things. And then we went to a stage where it's like, okay, like this is how I am, this is how you are, like, okay.
It's crazy because like after 6 years, you still get to know each other.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's like that. I think most of you guys would agree, eh? Like, it's like after 5 years, 10 years, you're still getting to know each other, eh?
Yeah.
I don't know, 10 years because we haven't been married 10 years.
Yeah, but like.
Hopefully we last that long. I'm joking.
But yeah, I think just open communication is important, and not communicating out of emotion.
Ooh, the E word.
Yeah, what did
So
you
true,
say?
so true. Like, yeah, so true. Like out of frustration.
Out of frustration, out of anger, or out of sadness, or you know what I mean?
So
Like
what do
when
you
you're
do?
upset.
So what do you do when you're in there? Like what have you done? And I'll probably share what I've done.
Breathe.
Woosa.
Wusa. Yeah, and then when it's calmed down, then come back and talk about it properly.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, having open and honest communication, like being real with each other, like talking about like the hard stuff.
Yeah, and you know what, guys? Like, I'm very comfortable being real, and it's been to be honest, it's been a liberating experience for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for those that know me, like I'm always. Yes, that's baby. All right, so there we go. My wife's gonna go get baby. So I think one of the things that I'm just thinking about now, that one of the liberating things for myself as a man is to be able to tell the truth. And I think this is one thing that I see in other men that we struggle to do, especially with our partners, is to tell the truth and to be real. And like for me, one of the most liberating things for me, especially when I gained a lot of weight, was to have an open communication with my wife and to talk about it. You know what I mean, guys? Like really talk about what I was going through, really talk about, how this weight, when I gained a lot of weight, guys, like it was what I thought to do within the first 2-3 years. Hello, Ginger. Aww. So what I thought to do, guys, when I put on a lot of weight, I thought that I could just kind of deal with it on my own.
Yeah.
But what I came to realize that it was affecting my relationship with my wife, it was affecting my relationship with my kids. And it wasn't until, honestly, guys, like, right? Like when I was real with you and just like, babe, like this is what I'm going through. It's stressing me out. I don't feel being vulnerable and being comfortable to open up and share my feelings with my wife. And I think that's been such a liberating thing for me. And to be able to, I thought my wife was going to judge me, and you remember that?
Yeah.
And telling her like real stuff, guys, like how it's affecting my confidence, how it's affecting our relationship physically, emotionally, mentally, and actually sitting down. And I think, for myself now that I work with other men, like that's one thing that I see. I'll tell you that I'll definitely back up my wife, saying that it's extremely important, guys, to have an open communication with your wife. And trust me, guys, I know it's hard. Like I'm a man, right? Like I was brought up with boys. I was brought up, my dad very, be a man type of person. And my perception towards that was just like to keep it inside and to deal with it on my own, And we've done the same with you, eh?
Yeah.
But it's being able to trust your wife, and it's being able to open up to her and say, look, this is what I'm experiencing. This is what I'm struggling with.
I think it's not trusting your wife, it's letting go of your ego.
Ego, oh my gosh.
You trust your wife?
Yeah,
Like,
it's an ego thing.
You trust me.
Ego. Why would you say ego, but?
Well, because I know you trust me.
Yeah.
It's your ego. Like you don't, like you feel like being open about your feelings is
weak. Yes.
Like it's not weak.
Yes.
How is it weak? Like everyone struggles with something. If anything, it shows strength and courage.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's so true, babe.
Yeah.
All right. So my first lesson was, what was my first lesson?
Like being considerate.
Being considerate as a man, especially for my wife, for my kids, for others, my surroundings, and not be so self-centered. Maybe that's a weakness of mine. Just be straight up. My wife mentioned the second one would be communication. Yeah. All right. And I think the second one for me, or the third one all up, is I was telling my wife today, and I was telling my siblings, the importance of effort. Effort, guys. Like, what would I call him? One of our the prophet. So he's one of the, he's like high up within the church.
He's the president of
the church. Like, he shared this great thought, and I really want to share this, and I want to relate it to what we're going through right now. Is he said that the Lord loves effort. The Lord loves effort. And I was like, man, that's so powerful. And I thought about like our relationship within like the last 6 years. Like, if you don't put effort into your relationship, it's gonna die. Yeah. If I don't put relationship as the head of the family, if I don't put effort into my wife, you know, like you guys probably agree, like when you first start dating and you get engaged, you know, it's airy fairy, you're in love, you know what I mean? But then after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, like if you don't keep that relationship alive, like if I'm not consistently pouring into our relationship and dating her, you know what I mean? Keeping that fire alive, which is through effort, our relationship is going to die.
Yeah, it's true. You got to wake up and work at it every day.
Every day. Like, it doesn't mean just because we're married. And to be honest, guys, like I thought that. I was like, you know what? If you know my journey, for you guys that know me, within 2 years, 3 years of me getting married, bro, I put on like 100 kilos, right? I put on like 100 kilos within being married within 2 to 3 years. So guess what? Like, I got comfortable, really comfortable quickly. And because of that, guess what? I put on a lot of weight. And guess what? That weight was affecting my relationship with my wife, was affecting my relationship with my children. And I stopped pouring effort, you know, effort. And so like I'll say this, like, you know, it's important as a relationship. Same thing with relationships, same thing with business, same thing with what else? Like every phase of your life, guys. Like literally my outlook on this is like, if you don't pour effort and energy into it, it's gonna die, literally. I look at my weight loss journey, guys. I'm like, if I don't put effort in every day, I'm gonna die. And it's the same thing with us. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's true. You have to continuously invest. Keep going on dates. Keep taking me on dates. No, like, you know, like keep going on dates. Keep investing quality time.
Quality time. Especially
like
now that we've got kids.
Yeah. And, you know, we do business from homes. So it's like, I think we've learned to juggle, like, just because we're working on the business doesn't mean that's actual quality time.
Quality time, no.
You
Quality
know,
time
for each
is
other.
100%.
So we're still learning. But yeah. You want to eat? I think my second lesson is being patient.
Patient.
I think the importance of being patient. Not just like with children, but I think with each other's growth. Knowing that that we are still individually growing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do it for you?
No, like you know.
Yeah.
Like we're still learning, we're still growing. Like,
so Richie.
Individually.
So docs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think being patient with that, like, you know, there's been things that like
what specifically then? Like I think everyone gets the concept of, you know, patience and that, but like specifically, like what do you mean? Just, and you can stand there. I think that's fine.
You want me to share an example?
Yeah, like what specifically would you say like patience? Was it with me? Was it with you? Was it with the kids? Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, like say like certain trials that we've gone through.
Yeah.
And being patient, that like being patient and allowing time for like the other person to go through it. Do you know what I mean? Like with your weight loss journey, for example. Like I had to be patient with you and know that, okay, this is going to take some time. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you're going to fall, like you're going to fail, like, and being patient with that. And you've been patient with me, like with, you know, stuff that I've gone through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you be patient? How do you become more patient? I think that's a good question. How do you become more patient?
When you don't let a problem become greater than loving the person. President Wilson's quote.
Yeah.
How does it go? Don't let a problem to be solved
Become more important than the individual themselves.
to be loved. Yeah. So I think like truly loving, like when you truly love someone, you know, you're willing to be patient.
You're willing to like, give them time.
Yeah. Yeah. So being patient with God, because we're going to continuously be growing. We're going to continuously be going through stuff. So yeah.
I love it.
What's your last one?
Last one. So the first one was, maybe we should just cut it short. We can share another time.
Okay.
All right, guys. So I think baby's tired. That's why.
Yeah.
He's tired. So look, guys, we're going to cut it short. But those are 4 things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my first one was
Being
being more considerate, guys. Like for us men, to be more considerate of our wives, be more considerate of our surroundings, you know, and to be willing to serve more, and have a more like a big capacity to be able to have more energy, be in a better state of mind to be able to serve those around us. That's number 1. Number 2, communication. Communication, 100%.
Having the hard conversation.
And having a hard and real conversation, like
we had that when 2 days ago.
a real conversation.
Yeah, like I was like, I need to talk to you about something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was built over time, right? Like over time that the relationship built. But I think, you know, have a real conversation with your partner, husbands and wives. Like that's what we've learned. Like be open, be willing. Men, put that ego aside, bro. Yeah, like put your ego aside. At the end of the day, like what's more important is the relationship. Because, you know, if me and you are not in the right mind space, if me and you're not communicating right, then how do we communicate effectively with our children? Yeah. And how do we become more patient? So that's number 2. Number 3 for me was effort. Effort, guys, like for us, you know, for me, I got comfortable after being married and I stopped pouring effort into a relationship. It was affecting a relationship. I was putting on weight and all this stuff. So it doesn't matter if you're married for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you need to constantly be dating, yeah? And then your 4th one was being patient with growth. Love it. Love it. So there you go, guys. We thought we'll share that. I thought we'll share that. My wife didn't want to share it, but I think it's good. I think people need to hear the truth. You know, that, you know, being married is not all airy fairy and it's not easy. It is not easy. Like it's not easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it, right?
Yeah.
Do I sound like I'm trying to convince myself? But yeah, it's definitely a learning phase. And you know what? Like, I'm grateful. I am definitely grateful to learn these lessons. Yeah. Are you grateful for me? Yes. All right, guys. Appreciate your time. Please, if you have any questions, comment below. To YouTube, much love, YouTube. To our loyal subscribers,